The message came from the edge of the galaxy. It wasn't meant for the whole universe, but it didn't stay hidden for long. A small, curious species called the Relnary had sent one of their old drones to a dead system near a collapsed star. They were searching for ancient minerals, nothing more. The drone floated in silence, scanning slowly, till it picked up something strange, something too big, too perfect, and too quiet to be natural. The object wasn't a planet. It wasn't an asteroid. It was massive, metallic, dark, floating. With no heat signature, no movement, no lights, just there, sitting in the shadow of the dead star. The drone locked its cameras on it and began to record. At first, no one cared. Another failed mining scan, another quiet system, but then the drone sent back its full transmission. The object wasn't a rock, it was a ship. The transmission reached the Relnary homeworld 2 days later. The footage showed a massive starship, kilometers wide, shaped like a spear and shield combined. Its hull was scorched, but still whole. Strange symbols ran along its spine letters no one had seen before. The front of the ship had a massive weapon system that looked like a cannon large enough to split a moon in half. Its engines were cold. The ship was sleeping, waiting, within hours. The Relnary sent the video to the Galactic Council. That's when everything began to unravel. The Council was not made up of fools. They ruled over 300 known species and thousands of worlds. They had fought wars, survived black hole storms, even pushed back hive creatures from another galaxy. But when the footage played in the council chamber, no one spoke. The screen showed the ship from different angles. The drone had circled it carefully. It zoomed in on the hull. There were names written in sharp, blocky script, made the old Zygarde Prime Minister tremble. Leviathano won one of the councils. Archivists gasped. That name. It was only found in a myth. A tale from a long-forgotten war. A story about the humans. Humans. The species that vanished hundreds of years ago. The species everyone thought was either dead or hiding. Some believed they were wiped out by their own wars. Others believed they had gone mad and destroyed their own worlds. No one truly knew. Their systems had been sealed off long ago, marked as lost territory. No ships ever came from that space again. Until now, and now, this ship, this thing, had appeared right on the edge of known space. Not flying, not firing. Just drifting, watching, silent. The debate exploded. The Varnic called for immediate destruction of the ship. No power that size should exist. Their war general shouted. We must act now before it awakens. The Morvans disagreed. Ancient, abandoned. What if it's a key to technology we've never seen before? The Thalians simply sat in silence. Their minds were connected by neural links. They had seen something hidden in the transmission, a signal, too faint for most. Sensors, a repeating code. The Thalians decoded it. Then froze. It was a human emergency transmission, faint, looping endlessly. Protocol active. Titan-class warship Leviathano 1 holding position, awaiting orders. Terran, directive last stand. No one understood what last stand meant. Not yet. The council's high speaker, a golden-skinned being named Orelon, stood slowly. His voice shook. This ship cannot be ignored. We must send a science vessel. We must know what it is and who or what remains aboard. Not everyone agreed. Whispers began. What if humans had never left? What if this ship was just the first? What if more were waiting? Some believed the Leviathan was a trap, a ghost weapon from the past. Others feared something worse, that the humans had built this ship for a war not yet over. They voted. By a small margin, the council approved a mission. 1 ship, with a team of scientists and an escort of 6 combat frigates, would travel to the coordinates. They would approach carefully, scan from a safe distance, and report back. The mission launched within the day. Captain Drex, a veteran of 5 border wars, led the expedition. His ship, the Silver Lance, moved slowly through the void. His orders were clear. Do not engage. Do not board. Observe only. When they arrived, the ship was still there. Silent, dark, immense, It dwarfed their entire fleet. Even the biggest combat ship looked like a toy beside it. The Silver Lance sent out a probe. It got close. There's no reaction. They circled once. Twice. Still, nothing. The ship didn't move. It didn't respond. Then, on the third pass, something happened. The probe's cameras caught a flicker, just for a second. A flash of light inside the Leviathan's main cannon chamber. A blink, then another. One of the council ships locked weapons, afraid. Captain Drex ordered them to stand down. And then the Leviathan sent a message. It wasn't words. It was a pulsant energy wave, carefully aimed, harmless. Kind of signal used to scan for identification. Like a voice asking, "Who are you?" Drex froze. The energy pulse repeated, exactly every 10 seconds. Gentle, non-hostile. It was like a knock on the door. The council team transmitted a simple message back. "This is the Galactic Council Exploration Team. We are peaceful." Leviathan went silent again, for 30 full minutes, and then responded. A deep, ancient voice, not human, not robotic, but something in between. Echoed through every ship's comm system. "Friend or foe?" The voice didn't come from outside, it came from inside their ships. As if the Leviathan had reached into their systems and taken control of their communications. Drex answered quickly, "Friend, we are explorers." There was a pause. Then the voice returned. "No match found." "Searching. Searching. Command authority not detected." The ships were filled with static. Lights flickered. The screens went dark. For 20 full seconds, every ship lost power. Then everything turned back on, and the Leviathan moved. Just a little, maybe a few meters, but it moved. Its massive engines stayed off. It rotated, almost gently, so its main cannon now faced the fleet. No words, no threats, just silence. A warning without speaking. Captain Drex didn't wait. He pulled the fleet back and sent an urgent message to the council. "Ship is active. Responds to signals, not hostile. Yet, it's recommending full quarantine and further analysis. This is not a relic. This is a weapon." Back on the council's homeworld, panic spread. News of the Leviathan leaked. Footage from the drone went viral across hundreds of systems. Alien citizens asked questions the council couldn't answer. Who built this ship? Where are the humans now? And the biggest question of all, if this is just one ship, how many more are still out there? That night, someone hacked the Galactic Archive. A hidden record was accessed. An old military file sealed for centuries. A file tagged Titan Protocol. It had only one line written in red. "If a Titan ever awakens, the war is not over." So across the galaxy, millions of beings felt the same cold chill. Because if the humans built something like that and left it behind like a forgotten sword, then maybe the humans didn't run from a war. Maybe they went looking for it. And maybe, just maybe, they were coming back. The council chamber was silent. The walls, usually glowing with blue and gold light, were dim. Security drones floated in the corners. No reporters, no public feed. This meeting was private, sealed by emergency code black. Only the highest ranking. Leaders were present. Representatives from over 60 advanced species sat around the great circular table. Each one with eyes, feelers, tentacles, or mind links locked on the same report: the Leviathan existed. That was no longer in question. It was real, active. A Titan-class warship built by the humans. Found drifting on the edge of the galaxy. Now awakened. And watching. The footage from Captain Drex's expedition was played again. The moment the ship turned. The moment it faced the fleet with that massive cannon. The voice that asked, "Friend or foe?" Then silence. The Zygarde Prime Minister stood first. His voice trembled with rage and fear. "We have to destroy it now, while we still can." Murmurs spread. Some nodded. Others leaned back. A few remained still. "Why?" asked the tall, pale Ishari representative. "It hasn't attacked. Hasn't even moved since that moment. We provoked it, don't you see?" Zygarde snapped. "That ship is a weapon, giant death machine. Do you think the humans made it for peace? They're extinct, someone whispered. Are they? Asked another. Then why is that ship still following orders? The Thalian speaker, whose species communicated through neural pulses, finally spoke through its translator. We found more in the signal, buried deep in the Leviathan's scan code. A failsafe. The ship is still obeying something called Last Stand Protocol. That means it is not finished. It is not alone. The room fell quiet again. The Varnock warlord pounded his metal claw on the table. This is not a mystery to study. This is a relic from a dead empire. We've had peace for nearly a century. This ship is a threat to all of it. We must strike it down before it fully wakes. A council elder from the Nabari Alliance raised a hand. And if there are more? He asked, if this is only one of many. If we attack and trigger something we don't understand, the humans are gone, Zygarde insisted. This is just leftovers. Junk. No, the Thalian said again. Not junk. It is watching, listening, learning. There was a pause, and the Ashari representative asked the one question no one had dared say out loud. What if the Leviathan isn't the danger? Warning, now the air was colder. The words hung heavy. A warning. A line in an old Terran myth came back to several minds. Ancient, passed down by traders and smugglers who once visited the lost human systems. The Titans sleep at the edge of stars, waiting for the end. The council called for a vote. 2 options, quietly named Option 1, immediate strike. Fleet. Plant fusion bombs across the ship's hull. Destroy it before it reacts. Option 2, silence and observation. Quarantine the system. Hide the discovery. Study the ship from a distance. Do not engage. The vote took 3 minutes 52%. Voted to stay silent. 40-8 voted for destruction. The decision was final. For now, but not everyone accepted it. Later that night, in a private chamber deep beneath the council hall, a shadow meeting was held. Not all members were invited. Only a few. The strongest, the richest. It's the ones who didn't trust the vote. 12 figures stood around a dark table. We cannot wait, the Varnock warlord growled. What if the humans are waiting for us to hesitate? The Zygarde nodded. The ship scanned us. It knows our fleet's tech now. It could be studying weaknesses. We must act, another said. Officially or not, one figure stepped forward, his face hidden behind a hologram. We'll use the silent spear, he said. A Black Ops fleet. No markings, no trace. It will look like pirates. The council will never know. And if it fails? Asked one. Masked figure said nothing, then slowly smiled. Then we'll know the truth. One way or another. It's far across the stars. Leviathan no one remained still. Its systems were quiet, its weapons were cold. But deep inside the heart of the ship, a something began to stir. A heartbeat, not mechanical, not human. Something. In the cryo chamber, deep beneath layers of armor and AI, single stasis pod flickered. The screen flashed once, then twice. A name blinked onto the display. CMDR, Elias J. Ellis, Terran High Command status. Stasis suspension ending. Leviathan's main AI spoke softly in a voice only the pod could hear. Waking primary. Command link needed. Awaiting orders? And outside, hidden in a nearby asteroid field. The black ships of the Silent Spear moved into position, ready to strike before the rest of the galaxy learned the truth. The countdown had begun, and no one, not even the council, could stop what was coming. In the cold silence of deep space, something ancient stirred. For years, Leviathan no one had drifted quietly at the edge of the galaxy. Its massive body, scarred by time and war, had remained still silent, watching, sleeping, until now, deep. Inside the Titan-class warship, the stasis chamber released a hiss. Frost cracked and fell away from a reinforced pod. Lights flickered along the floor. Systems hummed back to life. One by one, long dormant computers reconnected inside the pod. The eyes of Commander Elias J. Ellis snapped open. His heart thundered in his chest. He gasped for breath, then slowly sat up. His mind was foggy, but his training kicked in. He was a Terran fleet commander, and the ship had woken him for a reason. The chamber lights came on, revealing a small, sealed command room. It was built like a bunker, thick shielded and secure. No outside signals could break in, but the Leviathans voice cooed. Commander Ellis, the AI said. Protocol Titan, no one active. External scan shows non-Terran fleets in orbit. No human command links detected. Ellis blinked hard. Time since last contact? 206 years? The breath caught in his throat. He had gone to sleep expecting to wake in a month. Maybe 2. Not 2 centuries. What happened? He asked. Terran command lost, the AI replied. Signal gone. Homeworld silent. Emergency protocols locked. Awaiting orders. Ellis looked around slowly. Every screen now showed data ship. Status, external scans, fleet positions nearby, alien ships. Scanning him, he saw the footage. The drone. The message sent. The approaching warships now hiding in the asteroid belt. A Black Ops fleet. Hostile. I was supposed to wake only if... He whispered. If the war was not over, the AI finished. He stood shakily at first, then with strength. His command. Suit activated, reading his biosigns, syncing with the ship. He felt the connection return, his heartbeat syncing with the Titan's core. Power up sensors. Bring primary systems online. Passive only. Affirmative. Outside, the Leviathans. Lights flickered for the first time in centuries. Just a faint glow, like a sleeping giant twitching in its dreams. But for the silent spear fleet hidden nearby, that was enough. Aboard the lead stealth cruiser, Captain Halvik of the Varnak whispered into his comms. It's waking up. Begin approach. We strike now. His ships powered up, weapons plasma torpedoes, anti-tank drills, gravitic charges, all aimed for critical points on the warship's hull, inside the Leviathan. The AI detected them, multiple unregistered signatures approaching, no IFF codes. Movement pattern suggests ambush. Ellis narrowed his eyes. Do they know what this ship is? They do not. He stared at the scans. They were moving fast now, arming weapons, preparing to fire. He had a choice. He could activate defense. Systems. The Leviathan had enough firepower to erase a planet. But if he fired first, he would confirm humanity's worst fears in the eyes of the galaxy. That humans were monsters. That the Titans were still alive. Open a wideband channel, he said. Channel. Open. Ellis stood straight, shoulders squared, spoke. This is Commander Ellis of the Terran warship Leviathan No. 1. You are approaching a sleeping giant. We see your weapons. Stand down immediately, or be marked as hostile. There was no reply. But on the alien bridge, Captain Halvik growled. Fire. Now. Torpedoes launched. A dozen at once, screaming toward the Leviathan's side. But they never hit. Just before impact, a ripple of light spread across the ship's hull. A defensive pulse field activated, quiet, controlled. Flawless, that torpedoes disintegrated in mid-flight. Not exploded, deleted. Captain Halvik froze. What kind of shield was that? Then a second pulse spread out, this time from the Leviathan's core. Wideband EMP, not strong enough to destroy, but strong enough to say, I'm awake now. Across the asteroid field, engines stalled. Targeting systems glitched. Panic spread inside the Leviathan. The AI spoke again. Multiple systems reactivated. Core weapons, online orders. Ellis stared at the screen. He remembered Earth. He remembered what they were fighting for. And he remembered the last order he'd received before going into stasis. If they come, give them a warning. Only once, gave the order. Target. The nearest ship grazed their port side, no kills. The ship responded instantly. A silent energy beam flickered once clean, sharp. Precise, one of the silent spear cruisers spun out of control as its side was sheared off with surgical accuracy. No explosion, no death, just humiliation. The rest of the fleet stopped dead. Message them, Ellis said calmly. His words echoed across space. You came looking for a sleeping ghost. Now it's awake. This ship holds one of humanity's last defenders. I have fired only to warn you. Do not force me to fire again. The council, watching secretly from a hidden observer ship, was stunned. This wasn't some automated AI. This wasn't a dead relic. A real human was alive, and he was speaking. The galaxy had feared the Leviathan because of its size. Now they feared it because it had a voice, and the man behind that voice had not come to start a war, but if pushed would end one in the council chamber. Panic spread. He's alive, whispered the Morven representative. A human. He survived stasis. They only built 10 Titan-class ships, that the Lion said. If one woke, the others may still be out there. And if they all wake, someone asked. The council speaker stood slowly. We've made a mistake. The humans didn't vanish. They didn't lose. They prepared. And now they're watching us. The message spread across the stars like wildfire. It wasn't a signal meant for war. It wasn't a threat. It was something much more terrifying. A warning from a real, living human. From a Titan-class warship, the transmission was replayed millions of times across the galaxy's networks, translated into 100 languages, analyzed, debated, feared. The words were simple. .com. But the meaning was clear. You came looking for a sleeping ghost. Now it's awake. On news feeds, images of the Leviathan's glowing hull filled the screens. Everywhere from trade stations to Empire cores, people stopped to watch the face of Commander Ellis. His eyes were cold, but his voice was steady, a voice from a race thought to be extinct for over 200 years in the galactic councils. Inner chambers, the reaction was chaos. Ambassadors shouted over one another. He only fired a warning shot. He disabled a warship without killing anyone. He's clearly dangerous. He's clearly in control. The Thalian Mindlink network confirmed something else that made the room fall silent, Commander. Ellis had not just spoken to the attackers. He had known they were council-backed. Hidden ops. The kind of mission meant to leave no witnesses, and yet he let them live. The Ashari ambassador, always quiet and slow to judge, finally spoke. He is not what we expected. The Zygarn growled. He's more dangerous than we thought, but the Thalian offered a single word. Wiser. Meanwhile, on the Leviathan, Commander Ellis stood alone in the main command deck. The ship was alive again. Lights pulsed gently along the halls. The AI worked in silence. No alarms. No threat. But Ellis knew better. That fleet wasn't rogue. It wasn't pirates. Those were elite ships, sent by someone with power. He leaned on the console, staring at the new star charts. Earth. He asked. Unreachable, the AI answered. Last known coordinates show multiple system collapses. Signal blackout. No human traffic detected. What about the other Titans? Known. Last synced with Titan-O to Prometheus over 199 years ago. No response now. Ellis exhaled slowly. Alone? Or maybe not. Begin passive data sweep, he said. I want to know how much the galaxy's changed. What they're afraid of. Who's still out there, working? Then, a beep. Message received. Ellis raised an eyebrow. From who? Encrypted. From a private channel, Council origin. Low-level diplomat? The message was short. One sentence. We believe the Titans were myths. Please tell us why you built them. Ellis sat down. For a long time, he didn't speak. Then he began to record his reply. You want to know why we built ships like Leviathan? He asked, looking directly into the camera. It wasn't to conquer. He paused. It was to survive. The war that ended humanity didn't begin with weapons. It began with silence. It's the kind that creeps through trade routes. Systems going dark. Entire colonies. Missing, and then ships. Not of this galaxy. Things we couldn't explain. Some had no language. Some were just shadows. Ellis leaned closer. We built the Titans because we didn't want to die quietly. And if any of those things ever returned, the Titans would wake up. He ended the recording. "Send it," he ordered. "Council eyes only." The AI sent the encrypted file, then quietly said, "Long-range scans detecting movement. Multiple. Fleets en route. Varied species. Some approaching openly. Others cloaked." Ellis gave a half-smile. "They're scared. They're curious," the AI corrected. Across the galaxy, factions began to form. Some feared Ellis and the Leviathan. Whispered that if even one Titan-class ship could survive this long, it meant the humans had planned everything. That Earth had never truly died. This was only the beginning. Others began to hope on forgotten worlds. On mining colonies filled with ancient Terran refugees, people who remembered Earth, the signal was a spark that said, "We're not alone." And in the outer sectors, far from the Council's reach, hidden in an asteroid base, a group of Terran descendant scrappers, traders, ex-soldiers watched Ellis's face with tears in their eyes. "That's a fleet commander." One of them whispered, "A real one." Their leader stood up. Her eyes were sharp, cold, familiar. "I served under Ellis," she said. "He was legend even before the war ended." The others turned. "You think he knows we're still out here?" The woman nodded slowly. "He will, and when he does, we'll be ready." Back on the Leviathan, Ellis stared into the stars. "We need to find the others," he said. Searching now, the AI answered. "But Commander, there's something else." A pause. At a signal, hidden deep. Origin, Terran beacon. Encrypted message relayed through blacknet channels. "Play it." The voice came through static, broken, weak. But it was human. "Shh. Titan 03 online. Requesting link. Repeat. Titan 03 online." Ellis stood up fast, eyes wide. Another Titan had awakened. He wasn't alone after all. The signal was faint, buried deep under static and layered encryption. It bounced across old Terran satellites, ghost tech still floating in the void. And yet somehow it reached the Leviathan. Commander Ellis stood frozen. He hadn't heard a human voice, a real one, in over 200 years. The AI confirmed it. Signal origin confirmed. Titan 03. Calcine. Valkyrie identity of onboard personnel unknown. Status, awakening. Ellis whispered the name. Valkyrie. It was one of the last built, sister ship to the Leviathan. Faster, more agile. Lighter armor, but the same. Terrifying firepower. If it was online, someone had survived. Another commander, another crew maybe. Even survivors from the final days of Earth. He snapped into action. Chart a course. Burned silent. No transmissions confirmed. Ellis looked at the screen again. "Send one message. Type beam. Code black. I hear you. Hold position. Help is coming. Half a galaxy away." Titan 03 floated quietly in a graveyard of stars. Old wreckage drifted around it, broken ships, twisted satellites, chunks of dead rock. It had hidden in this graveyard for over a century, deep in standby mode, until now, inside in a dim cryochamber. Another stasis pod unlocked. A woman sat up, coughing, gasping. Her body shook, but her mind sharp. Her name was Commander Aria Vance. She blinked at the flickering screens. "Valkyrie." "Status report," she croaked. The AI responded softly. "Welcome back, Commander. Emergency signal received. Titan 01 has awakened. Awaiting contact." Aria's eyes widened. "Ellis." She whispered. Back on the Leviathan, things were moving. Fast. Ellis paced across the command deck. The galaxy had already seen him, heard him, feared him. Now, if another Titan appeared, the panic would grow. He wasn't sure who he could trust anymore, but someone was watching, waiting. He could feel it. "Report on enemy movements," he ordered. "Unknown fleets now repositioning around Titan 03's. "Last pinged location," the AI replied. "Interference suggests a trap." Ellis nodded grimly. "They're expecting us to link up. They want us to walk right into it." He studied the scans. Too many ships for a simple blockade. Too few for an open battle. That meant cloaked. Weapons. Mines. Sabotage. They didn't want to destroy the Titans. They wanted to capture them in council chambers. A new voice now led the Whispers Admiral Kale Soren, military head of the Outer Systems Alliance. He slammed his fist on the holotable. We cannot let the Titans link up. If two can awaken, there could be more. A fleet. A whole sleeping army. This is our chance to seize one. The council was divided. Some wanted peace, contact, dialogue, but others wanted power. Deploy the Parallax net, Admiral Soren ordered. We'll trap the Valkyrie, box it in. When the Leviathan comes to help, we take them both.
Ellis.
The galaxy didn't fear Titans because of their size or weapons. It feared them because of what they meant, that humanity had not been destroyed. It had only hidden its strongest cards until the galaxy forgot how to play the game. He leaned. Over the controls, prep phase shadow. We're not flying straight in, confirmed. The Leviathan's engines hummed, but the ship didn't lurch forward, it split. A piece of its hull detached an old, forgotten stealth drone reactivated. It would fly ahead, undetected, and it would tell Ellis exactly what trap waited for him and Arya. On board, Valkyrie. Commander Vance had already figured it out. She wasn't naive. Scans showed strange power spikes around her ship. Silent, scattered objects. Unmarked but deadly, parallax mines. Advanced traps designed specifically to capture. Titans and worse, someone had sent a fake reply back. An attempt to impersonate Ellis's voice. She ignored it. She trusted her instincts. And the ship? Hold position. Shields on passive. Wait for Ellis. He'll come. Then she paused and smiled. No, he'll outsmart them first. 30 hours later, the Leviathan arrived at the edge of the graveyard system. The wreckage spun. Slowly, the trap was perfectly laid. But Ellis had already seen it. The drone had done its job, mapped every mine. Traced every stealth ship hiding in the rocks. He watched as council commandos. Pirates and hired mercs drifted silently closer to the Valkyrie. They had no idea what was coming. Activate Ghost Protocol, Ellis said. The Leviathan vanished. From all scanners, 10 seconds later, it was already inside the trap. The first strike was invisible. A gravity mine detonated, except it didn't affect the Titans. It crushed 3 ambush ships, pulling them into the wreckage field. Then came the real blow. A wave of electromagnetic pulses swept the asteroid belt, disabling all remote drones. And then, just above the Valkyrie, the Leviathan decloaked. A silent guardian, glowing with power. Unshaken by time, onboard Valkyrie Vance laughed. I knew you'd find me, she said into the cum. Ellis's voice came back, clear and steady. Always. The two Titans now stood side by side, their lights aligned, their systems linked. The AI core synced instantly, creating a shared battlefield view that no alien ship could intercept. Within seconds, the trap was reversed. Dozens of enemy ships tried to escape. Most didn't, but Ellis and Vance didn't chase them. They weren't here to destroy, just to make a point. Humanity's Titans were awake. And now, they were moving together. The stars would never be quiet again. The stars around them were quiet now. Titan 01 Leviathan and Titan 03 Valkyrie hovered side by side, their massive hulls glowing faintly. The wreckage of the ambush fleet floated in silence. Not a single Titan cannon had fired during the final moments. Fear had done most of the work. Inside the Leviathan, Commander Ellis stared at the shared screen. Commander Arya Vance's image blinked into view. Older, pale, but alert. Her voice was dry, cracking from long stasis. Ellis, she said, you're even uglier than I remember. Ellis chuckled. Still alive, Arya. I must be doing something. Right. But the banter faded quickly. The real questions weighed heavily. How many of us are left? Vance asked. Ellis shook his head. You're the first I've found. But I think there's more. I think Earth left us something. A failsafe. The AI interrupted them. New signal detected. Source, ancient Terran buoy. Deep blacknet encryption. age 215 years. Both commanders turned sharply. Location, Ellis demanded, buried within a dwarf star system, coded 2 Titan-class cores only. Vance frowned. They hid something inside a star. Ellis narrowed his eyes. Or behind it. Right. The journey was silent and tense. The system wasn't on. Any known galactic map had been erased from star charts long ago. Only the Titans equipped with Earth's most secret navigation data could find it. As the 2 warships entered the system, the dwarf star pulsed weakly. Orbiting behind it was a station's maul, dead. Ancient Dathii spoke. Station designated Helios 9. Status: offline. Confirmed Terran origin. Biosigns: 0. 1 data core intact.
Ellis
and Vance docked side by side. Together they entered the station, weapons drawn. The air inside was stale. The lights flickered. Dust floated weightless, but something hummed. Deep below, they followed it to a sealed vault. The AI unlocked it. Inside was a single chair, a skeleton in a black uniform, sighted a handprint scanner and a dusty terminal still glowing faintly. Ellis stepped forward. His heart thudded as he placed his hand on the scanner. The screen lit up. Titan Protocol 7. Final message. A hologram flickered to life. A man appeared. Gray beard, proud eyes, Earth insignia on his shoulder. Ellis whispered, "Admiral Greaves." The hologram began to speak. "If you're seeing this, then at least 1 Titan survived, maybe more. That means the Titans did their job. We lost Earth. We lost the colonies. But we didn't lose hope. We knew one day the stars would forget us, that the Council would erase us, that the enemy would come back. So we built a weapon, not just of steel or fire, a warning, a memory. This station holds a blueprint, not for another Titan, but for something worse, something bigger. We called it Project Skyhammer." Ellis and Vance exchanged shocked looks. "It was never finished," the Admiral continued. "We ran out of time, but the plans are complete. If you have the strength, you can finish it. If you don't, then at least let the galaxy know this humanity was never conquered. We chose silence. And now, you choose what comes next." The hologram ended. Silence. Ellis stepped back. Skyhammer. Vance walked to the console, studying the files. "It's real. Everything's here. Weapons, propulsion, AI matrix. This thing makes the Titans look like scouts." Suddenly, alarms flashed across both Titan ships. Multiple incoming fleets, the AI warned. 33 ships. All Council aligned. Fast approach. Ellis looked at Vance. "They followed us." "Of course they did." Ellis turned toward the exit. "No time to upload everything. Just send the core schematics back to the Titans." "Done." Vance grabbed a rifle. "You thinking what I'm thinking?" Ellis nodded. "We hold the station. Long enough to get Skyhammer's data home." They both turned toward the hatch. "Let's remind them," Ellis growled. "What happens when you back a Titan into a corner?" Outside the station, the enemy fleets opened fire. But before the shots landed, a shockwave of raw power surged from the Leviathan and Valkyrie. The Titans activated full defensive protocols. Massive energy shields flared to life. Return fire was limited but precise. 1 shot, 1 kill. Ellis's voice boomed across open frequencies. "You sent fleets to erase ghosts. Now you've awakened monsters. We're done hiding. We remember everything." The battle became chaos. The enemy tried to board, but Ellis and Vance turned Helios 9 into a fortress. For every soldier that entered, 3 didn't come out. The AI kept the upload steady. Data raced from the vault into the heart of the Titans. Skyhammer was safe, but the cost was high. Inside the station, enemies kept coming. The corridors burned. Ellis was hit. Vance dragged him to the lift. "We've got what we came for," she said. "Time to leave." They barely made it back to the Valkyrie. As they launched, Helios 9 collapsed. Behind them in fire and silence. But the message had been sent. The Titans now carried Earth's deadliest secret, Skyhammer, and with it, the power to end any war, or start a new one. The Council had run out of time. Two Titan-class warships now roamed freely side by side. Every fleet sent to trap them had failed. The ambush at Helios 9 had not only been crushed, had backfired, and worst of all, the Titans escaped with something ancient, something forbidden. Project Skyhammer. Inside the Grand Council chamber, the mood was darker than ever before. The ceiling screens replayed the battle at the dead station. Shots of Commander Ellis and Vance firing side by side. Footage of their ships tearing through enemy squadrons. Like shadows through light, the Trellin ambassador slammed his fist on the table. They're building something. You all saw the files? That station wasn't just a vault, it was a forge. Zarn diplomat hissed. If Skyhammer becomes real, we won't survive it. Whispers filled the chamber. Words like planet cracker, gravity, inversion cannons, Darkcore AI, all designs from Skyhammer's blueprint. All outlawed even by Terran standards. Finally, Admiral Soren stood. His voice was cold steel. There's only one way to stop them now. We take the fight to them. All fleets. All species. We burn the Titans down before they finish what Earth started. Silence, then nods. The Council voted. Unanimous. Operation Final Silence had begun deep in the Helix Nebula, hidden from all scanners. The Titans floated in a secret Terran Drytaclong abandoned. Now reawakened by Ellis's command codes, dozens of human-made drones stirred to life. Robotic arms began pulling, Skyhammers framed together piece by piece. This was no ordinary ship. It was a behemoth, a city-sized mobile weapon. It's larger than the Titans, shaped like a spire of black metal, with engines that folded space around it. In the center and unfinished core chamber, waiting for something ancient, Ellis and Vance stood on an observation deck, staring through thick glass as the work began. You really think this thing will work? She asked. Ellis didn't answer immediately. Then slowly he said, it was never meant to destroy the galaxy. It's just to stop it from killing itself. She turned to him, by fear, by truth. He activated a console. The upload from Helios 9 was nearly complete. Once this ship comes online, Ellis continued, every council power will know. Humanity is done being forgotten. But they weren't alone. Above the nebula, cloaked ships watched from a distance. A rogue faction one that had once betrayed Earth. The Korathi, a species once saved by humans, now working as mercenaries for the Council. They'd seen the early Skyhammer tests. They had seen enough. Their captain growled into the cum. Send coordinates. The Council wants a war. They'll get one. 2 days later, the stars erupted. The sky above the Helix Nebula twisted as dozens and hundreds of ships dropped. From Warptalk Council DREAD, Nojix. Assault carriers, stealth ships, missile flingers, and in the center, the Eclipse, a Council superweapon, its cannons glowing with antimatter inside the Leviathan. Alarms screamed. Invasion force detected. Full encirclement. Forming. No diplomatic signals. All weapons armed. Commander Vance stared at the screen. They're not here to talk. Ellis nodded grimly. They're here to end this. Valkyrie powered up. Leviathan's cannons shifted. Skyhammer was not ready. Yet, but the Titans would stand. Send the message, Ellis ordered. A single ping shot out not to the Council, but to every human remnant hiding in the galaxy. 2 scavengers, smugglers, old soldiers exiled. Terran AI. The message was clear. Skyhammer is real. We're outnumbered. We need every hand. And across the stars, something incredible happened. Old ships powered up. Lost colonies rearmed. Terran war AI long believed dormant flickered to life. From dust, a human resistance fleet began to form. They came in battered freighters, refitted shuttles. Ancient corvettes rebuilt with scrap. They were nothing like the Council's polished navy, but they had something stronger. A reason to fight. The battle of the Helix Nebula began with fire. Missiles streaked toward the Titans. Ellis gave the order. Form shield wall. Valkyrie front. Leviathan left flank. Skyhammer stays buried until we say otherwise. The 2 Titans danced through fire. Despite their size, They moved with impossible grace. Their cannons fired only when needed, always exact, always final, the council pressed. Hard their numbers were overwhelming, but then, first Terran ship arrived, then 20 more, then 50. A chaotic swarm of human vessels surged from the shadows outgunned. But not Utimat. Together they struck the council's rear lines. Ellis's voice rang out again. This is for Earth. Vance followed. This is for the ones you erased. It's a Terran fleet, ragtag and furious. Hit the council lines like a storm. For every ship that fell, 2 more joined, but the council wasn't done. Admiral Soren gave the final command. Fire the Eclipse. Wipe them all. The Eclipse powered up. Its core flared like a newborn sun. It targeted Skyhammer's dock. Ellis turned to Vance. It's now or never. She slammed her fist on the override. Bring Skyhammer online. The dry dock cracked open. Black steel glowed. From the inside, Skyhammer's engines lit up for the first time in 2 centuries, and it spoke. Designation: Skyhammer. Mission: Survival. Target: Enemy fleet. It launched forward, and the stars held their breath. The Helix Nebula lit up like a second sun. Skyhammer had launched, a black silhouette of death, hundreds of kilometers long, rising from the dark like a titan of legend. Its surface was smooth, armored in neutron-forged alloys. Wherever. No signals sent, but every sensor in the Council's fleet screamed in warning. Skyhammer had no escort. It didn't need one inside. Systems powered up one after the other like a monster waking from a deep, angry sleep. Target lock: Eclipse-class superweapon. Distance: 79,000 kilometers. Firing authorization: Commander Ellis. You're in the Leviathan. Ellis stood silently. His hand hovered over the command pad. Commander Vance's voice crackled through the channel. They're still charging the Eclipse. If they fire first, the dockhand everyone in it is gone. Ellis didn't blink. Then we fire faster. He pressed his hand down. Fire. A deep hum echoed across the battlefield, so low it rumbled inside every ship, vibrating bones and metal alike. It wasn't just sound, it was gravity. Skyhammer's main weapon ignited, a Dark Ore singularity cannon. It didn't shoot energy or fire. It collapsed space in front of it, tripping a hole in gravity itself and hurled it forward like a spear. The bolt struck the Eclipse. There was no explosion, no fire, just silence. Then slowly, the Eclipse began to twist, bend, fold in on itself. Like paper in a storm, then dash gone. The Council's most powerful weapon had ceased to exist. A full second passed before anyone reacted, then chaos. The Council fleets tried to flee, but the human ships surged forward. Valkyrie and Leviathan led the charge, Skyhammer secondary. Weapons activated hundreds of micropulse railguns and particle disruptors tearing through shielding like it wasn't even there. Council ships exploded by the dozens. Their formations collapsed. No one expected humanity to return. No one expected them to come back stronger. The last enemy dreadnought sent a desperate message. They built a god. It was the final transmission before it, too. It's vanished into flames. Hours passed. The nebula cooled. Wreckage floated silently. Ellis and Vance stood together on the Skyhammer's command bridge. No cheers, no celebrations, just silence. We won, Vance said quietly. Ellis didn't answer. He looked out over the battlefield. We stopped a slaughter. It's not the same as peace. She nodded. What now? Let's walk to the main console. Now we let the galaxy decide. He opened all frequencies. every channel, every species, every system, a live broadcast began. He stood tall in front of the camera. To all who can hear this, this is Commander Jackson Ellis of the Titan-class warship Leviathan.
Oh.
Now aboard the Skyhammer. You remember Earth as a memory, a warning, a myth. We're not myths. We're still here. For 2 centuries, you erased us. You lied. You called us extinct. Today, that lie ends. We do not seek to rule. We will never bow again if you attack us. We will find the Skyhammer if you seek peace. Then we will build it with you. Humanity has returned. We will never disappear again. He ended the message. Across the galaxy, silence that followed was louder than any war. On distant worlds, civilians stared at the broadcast in awe. Some cheered, some trembled, some began to burn council flags in hidden stations. Humans in exile cried for the first time in decades. The children of Earth had returned, and they had brought justice with them. The council fractured. Some species left. Others begged for peace. The old alliance shattered under the weight of fear and shame in its place. A new force began to rise. Not an empire, not a dictatorship, but something human. A free coalition. Forged in the fire of survival and carried by the few who never stopped believing at its head. The Titans, and now Skyhammer. Not a weapon of destruction, but a guardian. A reminder that no matter how long it takes, humanity remembers, and humanity always comes back. The stars were quiet again, but this time they listened.